Hello guys, welcome back to the third video of this series, and in this video we're going to be talking about how you can implement CSS to your HTML page and also how you can connect your Django project to the database. So also, like, a prerequisite is that you know how to you understand how databases work, and if you don't, I have a video explaining it in my YouTube channel, so you can just go check that out. So first, what you actually need to do is just create the CSS file. So to do that, first of all, you need to create a folder called static. So here in your Django app, in the app that you created, so you just make a new folder and call that static. And inside that static folder, that's when you can create separate folders to handle the JavaScript file, the images, and also the CSS they're going to be handling on the page. So to do that, you just create a new folder and you call that CSS. You can call it any name you want, but I prefer to call it CSS so that I understand what's happening. And then inside the static as well, you can also add in the files for your images. Like, let's just say you want to create you want to add a background image to your website. You can just create a new folder and call that images as well, and obviously access the images from that folder. So then we now create a new file. I'll just call this login.css. Once you've made this file as well, you can then decide to paste in the styling for the page as well. So since I'm creating a login page using Django, because obviously that's the best way I can explain the databases to you guys, and then you can decide to advance in in the implementation of it. So once you've created the CSS file, then you add in the styling as well, and then you go to the CSS that you want to then you go to the HTML page that you want to add styling to. So here we can just remove this right now, and then we just carry this code. This is the way to connect the CSS in Django. That's the way I do anyways. So you paste that there, and then obviously let me just explain what each of this thing does. So this href just links two files together, and then the CSS is the name of the CSS folder that you're storing the CSS file, the styling to. If this was a different name, you can store that. If this was let's just say styling, you can call this styling, and then obviously this is the name of the CSS file. So since mine is login, I'll just call that login.css. Let me just make sure everything's correct. And then you go into your settings.py, and then here in the settings.py you go to the static URL, which is this one. So once you've gone to this, once you've located this static underscore URL, you can then paste this one, and then here, instead of my app, you just name it the name of your Django app. So since mine is my Django app, I can just call this my underscore Django underscore app, and obviously this static is the name of the file that you created as well. Okay, so once you've done that, then we go back into the HTML page again, and then here we can just give this page a way to access the static files, and to do that it's quite easy. So you just write this, and then in the middle you just write load static. So then we can just close this, refresh the page again, and then actually run it again. So then we copy this URL, and then if you go back into the web browser and then paste it, so it shows us the login page that we made. So since this is done, now we can try access this sign up page. So let's make a sign up page again. You can just copy this, and we can just give this a way to differentiate the both of them. So here we'll just be like h1, this is the login page, and then here we'll just make the same one again, but instead we'll press this h1. This is the sign up page, and then we can just modify this one. So we can just change this to have an account, and then login. And then here, instead of the usual way that we used to do, we can just remove this right now and then paste this one. And here we specify the function that we're trying to access. So if we go back into the views.py, we can see that since this is the one for the login page, so we can copy this one here, then go to this and then paste it here. And in the sign up page as well, and in the login page as well, we can just go to the views.py, copy the name of this function, and then paste it right here. So if we go back to our website again and then we refresh, if you go to sign up, it says this is the sign up page. And if you go to, actually wait 1 second, I made a mistake. So let me just see what the error is. Okay, so you can just save and then refresh again. Perfect. Login, sign up. And then let's actually try implementing the database right now. But to implement it with the database, we need to make sure that these credentials that we're passing into the backend we're able to access it from our backend. And we also need to make sure that we're passing it securely. So first we need to go back to the HTML page, and then we need to add in this line of code. So this, in simple terms, is just make sure that you're passing it to the backend securely. And then once that's done, also need to specify the method as well. So there's post and get request. So I'm going to use post request. So then we go back into the views. So you go to the views.py, and then here, same thing with Flask. You just be like, if request dot method is equals to post. So here we're going to access the email and the password that the user passes in. So be like, email is equals to request dot post dot get, and then email. So this email here is this name that we gave to this email. And for the password, we also collect this one here again. Go back to views.py, and then obviously password is equals to request dot post dot get, and then password again. And then we can just print that to the terminal. So print email. So we like email, and then password, and then the password will be same thing as that. So password. So once that's done, we can actually just print that to the terminal and just see if it works. So actually we print it. So once that's done, we can actually just verify and see if it works. So we go here, and then we can just try to split the screen into two, and then come here, and then if we refresh this page, actually wait, I'll just remove this. Sorry, remove this. Actually, I can just make a new one. So one, and then here I'll just be like, fly me to the moon. And if I press login, you should be able to see the .com. And if I log in, you should be able to see the name and the password. So this is it again. And then we can pass it to the database for storage. So I'd say that a major difference between Flask and Django is the way you interact with the database. To do this is quite easy. Since so in Flask we use SQL queries inside the Python code, inside the Python file, while in Django we use ORMs. Essentially what this means is like you just use Python code to interact with the database instead of SQL queries. So to do this, you go into this models.py, and here you're going to be this is where you're going to be creating classes to handle specific tables. So to make a table is quite easy. We use class to do it. So you just call make a class, and then here any name you want to use it, any name you want to name it. But it's usually better to use capital letters for the first letter. So I'll just call this login for tutorial, and then here then this inherits from model. So models.model, and and then here you just this. So this, like, the way I can just try explaining to you is that this is the way you can, like, initialize attributes in that table. So if you want to know more about that, you can just come here and then search up Django ORM documentation. So Django ORM documentation, and then here is going to show you how you can, like, the different aspects or different ways you can interact with the table. So this is quite it. You can just come here and just read through the documentation, to be honest. So once this is done, let me just make sure that everything is proper. So, and then you can just return this as well. Actually, wait, so this would be we just use that for the password. Password is equals to, and then we can just call it self.email. And then once this is done, you go back to your terminal, and then you always need to make migrations. This is because Django handles the way it's going to be stored in the database, but you need to, like, write the code. But Django handles everything, so it's going to make sense eventually. So here, remember, always make sure that you're able to see this manage.py file. So here you just write Python manage.py, make migrations, and then it's going to show you this. And then after that, you say migrate. And then once that's done, you're now able to use it and, like, store the credentials. So here we can actually delete that if you want, but here I'm gonna import from .model, import all. Okay, once that's done, we can actually just view our table right now. So since we're using the database that's initialized with the Django app, we can just be like, I think it's SQLite, and then the name of your SQL table, and then here you just be like .tables. So here you can just see the name of the table that I created here. And then you can also, like, you can make multiple tables. To be honest, let me just show you a new one again. To make tables, remember, you make a class, and then in that class, to make tables, you just make a new class, and then you just call this, for the tutorial. Remember, always make sure that this is capital as well. It's just conventional. You save that again. Once you finish editing your models.py, remember, come back here again, .exits. You run this code again, Python manage.py, make migrations, and it's going to show you that you created a new model or you edited it. And then after that, Python manage.py migrates. And then once that's done, to see what you've actually done, you can just go to you can just run this command to access the database that is initialized with the Django project, and then you .tables, and then you see the new one that you created here. And then you see the new one that you created here again. So then we can actually just add that you can actually just add our credentials to the database. Also, if you want to use use your own personal database, let's just say if you want to use a Postgres database, you go to this sentence.py, and then you go to where the database is. So once you've gone to where the database is, you can just paste this code here. And obviously these are the credentials for your Postgres. But this you're going to initialize this with the credentials of your Postgres, but this is my one right now. And then once you've done that, again, you go and you make migrations so that you inform the app that you're using a different database. Same thing with the cloud one. and other database. So since we're going to be making use with the one that is initialized with the app, you can just comment this out. But again, if you want to make use of your own database, example Postgres as well, you write this code. But also make sure that the one that you're using allows you to like integrate it with Django using ORMs. There's some database, like I'll give you an example, like Firebase. It doesn't make use of Django ORMs, so you don't need to do that. But the ones that make use of Django ORMs, you need to use this one. So you can just comment this out right now. And then we go back into the views.py, which is this one here. So then make sure that you've imported that file so you can access every single class that you made in that file. And then here we can just like add these credentials to the database. So to do that, you go to the models.py, and then obviously we're making use of this table. So you go back into the views.py, and then for here you just be like wait, let me just see, login for tutorial, which is the name of the class. Let me just make sure I'm correct. So login for tutorial, which is the name of the class, and then .objects .create, and then here you be like, and then here you just, the email is equals to email and password is equals to password, and then here you just email is equals to email, and then password is equals to password. So let's just say you're also collecting the name as well, which let's just say here you're also like trying to access the name that the user writes. To do that, you go back into the models.py, and then here you just specify the name as well, which would be like this, and then you just change this one to name, and then once you've done that, you go back to the views.py, and then you specify, you be like, the name is equals to the name. So this email is the one that's in this models.py, which is here, and then the email of this one is this one. But obviously it's just better to like name them the same way so that it's just easy to understand. And so once that's done, we can actually just refresh the page and just see how it works. So you come here again, and then you just exit. Actually wait, let's just see what's in this table so far. So select all from my Django app. So I'll just copy this one here, and then I'll just paste this, and we can see that it doesn't show us anything. That's because the table doesn't have any credentials. So once we run the code, let me just make a new terminal to run the code again, so it's going to be easier for us to like so cd downloads Django tutorial, and then list cd SQLite, and then so here we can just like the exit, and then Python manage.py and run server, and then we can just split this screen into two, go back to this one, and we can just go back to the login page, and then we refresh this one again, and then let's just say that we initialize this with like let me just say a random stuff. I'll be like my name is chat lighting, and then I log in, it shows me this thing here, and then if I go back here, and then I just like obviously select .tables. So this is the table that I want to select from, because this is the table that I added this information to. So I'll be like select all from, and then you specify the table that you want to Django app login for tutorial, and then if you select exit, select. It will show you the name and obviously the password that you wrote again. So if I change this one to pythonify@gmail.com, and then I just put 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and I log in as well, it should show you the password there and everything there. And if I rerun the code again, it should show that the new password and email has been updated and added to the table. So that's pretty much it so far. Like, all you literally need to do is just learn the basics, and then you can advance in your applications to it. That's what I literally did, because when I was learning how to use database on Django, I just learned how to implement it with database. I just learned how to initialize the app, and then obviously, since I knew the basics, I can extend my use and everything towards it. But here, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope everything was simplified for you. Also, make sure that you practice, because so obviously make sure you're putting in the work, because there's a saying that practice makes perfect, and that's not true. Perfect practice makes perfect. Also, make sure you're practicing the right thing, and make sure that you're doing it properly. Obviously, feel free to ask me any questions in the comments, and feel free to reach out to me through my Gmail. It's in my bio. Subscribe to my YouTube, and also follow me on TikTok as well. Thanks for watching. Bye.